Virgil sung, forced by fate and haughty Juno's unrelenting hate. Expelled and exiled, I left my father's shore. I bore long labors, both by sea and land, in that Trojan war. All this before I won the Latin realm and built the glorious and destined town.
Rome, if any nation deserves the privilege of claiming a divine ancestry, that nation is our own. When we declare that Mars himself, our first parent and father of Romulus, the man who founded our city, all the nations of the world might as well accept it as readily as they accept Rome's imperial dominion.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Famous Men of Rome. Please allow me, the legendary hero Aeneas,
And me, the famous historian Livy,
to take you on a journey in 3 parts. We will chart the Roman Age of Kings,
the glory of the Republic.
and the power of the Western Empire.
Please enjoy the performance.
I'm the descendant of the brave Aeneas who sailed the great sea in search of a new home, a new Troy, a city that one day will rule. I founded Rome. My name is Romulus. Welcome one, welcome all. Come to my city for refuge. Be you wanderer, fugitive, or refugee, you shall find a new home in the city. Rome is a city worthy of your desires, O admirable Latin race. We will be forebearers of truly honorable, majestic, and brave men. You have chosen to pursue greatness, and for that you are truly praiseworthy. The glory of our cities will be incomparable to all other cities. Today we're laying the foundations of victory, dignity, peace, and life.
Thank you, great Romulus. We are forever your servants, soldiers, and loyal companions.
But tell us, where shall we find good wives to marry? No one will come to us because we are known as criminals and vagrants. Who on earth will marry us?
What do we do that we cannot steal from our neighbors? We will invite our neighbors, the Sabines, to a festival of games and feasting. The sound of the horn, every man will take a woman and ride back to Rome.
And this they did, causing King Tatius of the Sabines to make war. But luckily, he and Romulus, with the grace of the Sabine women, were able to make peace before much harm was done. Rome prospered, and the Senate was formed to govern it. Romulus was the first king of what would become a grand civilization. Rome became a civilization that not only acted grandly, but looked grand. Many splendid buildings were erected by the great King Tarquin.
I am Tarquin, and with any who name Tarquin, power is the breath of life. To some, my name is an ill omen, dangerous to liberty, but I did many great things. Here you see my racetrack, Circus Maximus.
After King Tarquin, a man named Servius Tullius ruled Rome with goodness and gentleness, but a son of King Tarquin plotted against him. His name was Tarquin the Proud. This impostor Servius Tullius shall not stand in my way any longer. I shall be king over his dead body. And so Tarquin did as he said. Servius Tullius was killed. Tarquin the Proud became king. Tarquin the Proud would be the last king of Rome because he was such a cruel tyrant. One of his sons, named Sextus, insulted a young lady of the royal court named Lucretia. She was so ashamed that she plunged a dagger into her heart. At this outrage, a leader arose to defy the tyranny of Sextus and Tarquin the Proud. His name was Junius Brutus. By this girl's blood, none more chased till a tyrant wronged her, and by the gods I swear, that with sword and fire, and whatever else can lend strength to my arm, I will pursue Lucius Tarquinius the Proud, his wicked wife, and all his children, and never again will I let him, nor any other man, be king in Rome. We will not suffer a man to rule Rome. We will not suffer a man to rule Rome.
riches of the Republic could afford. But an even greater tribute to him was the nation's sorrow, of which the most poignant expression was given to him by the women of Rome, who mourned him for a year as a father. It was their special tribute to his fierce championship of women's honor.
Thus the age of kings ended. The people would suffer no single man to rule Rome. Instead, they put their faith in the rule of the Senate. But Rome's outstead, King Tarquin, would not go down without a fight. He joined forces with the king of Clusium, Lars Porsena, to try and take back his throne. Porsena and his army marched toward Rome, but there encountered some difficulty.
The only way for the Etruscans to enter our city is by crossing the Sublution Bridge. Consul, what should we do?
We must cut down the bridge. It's the only way to save our city. As when you can begin dismantling the bridge.
The Etruscans are in sight. We're running out of time.
If only someone could hold them off while we finish tearing down the bridge.
Who could do that? A whole army against one man?
Consul, give me 2 good men and I will defend the bridge and hold the enemy at bay.
3 men to hold back thousands?
We can easily defeat the Romans. The city will be ours.
Ooh.
Spurius, Titus, the bridge is about to fall. Run back to the other side and I will stay and defend it.
The bridge is down, Horatius.
Round turned he, as not deigning those craven ranks to see. Not spake to Lars Porsena, to Sextus not spake he. But he saw on Palatinus the white porch of his home, and he spake to the noble river that rolls by the towers of Rome.
O Tiber, Father Tiber, to whom the Romans pray. A Roman's life, a Roman's arms, take thou in charge this day.
So he spake, and speaking sheathed the good sword by his side, and with his harness on his back plunged headlong into the tide.
When I emerged from the dry earth, the leaders of Rome were there to greet me, and even Lars Porsena's prayers for my safety were answered. With shouts and clapping and weeping, I returned to my home through the river gate, borne on the shoulders of the crowd.
Horatius was well rewarded for his bravery and had a statue erected in his honor. Porsena had decided to keep his army on the other side of the Tiber. His plan was to besiege Rome, preventing food from being sent in, thus forcing the Romans to surrender. But there was one thing Porsena had not accounted for: Caius Mutius.
I devised a way to save our city. I'm going to march into the Etruscan camp, find Porsena, and kill him. That would put an end to this siege. Here's your pay. Go tell your troops to prepare for guard duty at the river. Distribute this among your men and report back to me.
Oh no, he's killed the secretary! Who are you and why have you done this?
I'm a Roman citizen. I came here to kill you because you are an enemy of Rome. I have failed, but others are coming who will not fail. Your life will be in constant danger, Lars Porsena, and you will want to be killed when you least expect it.
I shall burn you to death if you do not at once tell me all of Rome's plans to kill me.
Behold, who we Romans came for pain with to defend our country.
I am amazed. This man's heart is fearless and cannot be bound. Set him free.
In return for your kindness, I now tell you of my own free will that I am not unfit of punishment. Know that 300 young Roman men have pledged enough to kill you. The lot fell to me first. I have failed, but more will come until Rome is finally free of you.
Porsena was so frightened at these words that he immediately sent messengers to make peace. Peace did not last. War broke out with the Aequians to the east. The Romans were easily winning. However, in a feigned retreat during one battle, the Aequians lured some Roman horsemen into a narrow ravine. It was a trap. One horseman did manage to escape. He returned to Rome to inform the Senate of the dire situation.
We were following the Aequians in pursuit when they led us into a ravine. They barricaded the exits and most of the Rome's horsemen were trapped. The Aequians are surrounding Rome's horsemen at the tops of the hills. There is little grass for the horses, sparing water, not much food. If we don't act quickly, they will die.
For a while, the Senate saw little hope, but then one senator spoke up.
There's only one man who can save us. Let us go to Cincinnatus.
And so they did. Cincinnatus shall tell you the rest of the story.
When the senators came to find me, I was plowing my fields. Because Rome needed me, I left my plow and gathered faithful men for an army. Before the sun had set that evening, we marched to the hills where the Romans were trapped. In the quiet stillness of dawn, we formed ranks all around the Aequians. It was now they who were trapped. They fought desperately, but in vain. Rome was victorious again. I chose to spare their lives, but not without making them pass under the yoke. The joy of my countrymen was so great, they wanted to make me king. I was crowned with a laurel wreath and paraded into the city, but I knew my role. I gave up my power and went back to farming.
When the Roman Republic was under a great threat, they appointed a dictator to have supreme power, but only for as long as it took to secure Rome's safety. Our next famous Roman is Camillus. Camillus was a great soldier and was appointed dictator of Rome in time of great danger, but he ran into trouble on one occasion. Camillus was accused by leaders of being greedy with the spoils of war. Such a crime was very serious and was sent to trial. Seeing a trial before a tribune as a disgrace, Camillus chose a life of exile, and as he passed under Rome's gates, he prayed that the gods would do something so terrible that Rome would be forced to beg for his return.
My prayer was answered. Rome was invaded by the Gauls. They swooped down into Italy, defeating all of Rome's armies along the way. Most of the Romans deserted the city, leaving it wide open for the enemy to pillage. Meanwhile, they destroyed most of the city, but could not drive out a small band of Roman senators and fighters from their stronghold in the capital. Meanwhile, those who fled sought me out. As I had prayed, they pleaded for me to return and deliver them from this disaster. I arrived just in time. The chief of the Gauls, Brennus, was demanding the Senate pay him gold in order to leave them alone. This is what I told him. We Romans defend our country not with gold, but with steel. Therefore it was not gold that saved Rome that day, but the sword of Camillus.
The Roman Republic gained strength and became engaged in a series of wars with North African state of Carthage. Rome's greatest threat during these punitive wars was from Hannibal, the great general of Carthage. He traveled thousands of miles through Hispania and over the great Italian Alps. Rome's only hope was Scipio Africanus.
When Carthage sought to conquer Rome a second time, it sent Hannibal across the Alps with war elephants to crush our army. His brother, Hasdrubal, was the first one to see my sword when I repelled him from Italia. I gave this short sword, the gladius, to my fellow Romans to pierce the ranks of our enemies for as long as Rome would wield it.
Romans began to get lazy under the protection of their armies provided for them. There were even periods of peace between Carthage, but not all Romans trusted their North African rivals.
Delindo es Carthago. I am Senator Cato, and in my opinion, Carthage must be destroyed. I felt so strongly about the destruction of Carthage that I ended every single speech I gave in the Senate with those very words. Delindo es Carthago. I lived during a time when the Romans were losing sight of what really mattered. We were growing fat and lazy. We spent too much money on things we didn't even need. We were stealing from our strength as a nation. I should have lived a different life. I lived an austere life under the old frugality. I ate plain food, drank cheap wine, and had very few servants. I was made censor, and with my newfound power, I fought against frivolity and waste. People do not need to go around in carriages. They can walk. I levied taxes against items Romans held dear, like fancy furniture, and other noticeable items like jewelry. Delindo es Carthago! The military might of Rome grew, and with it grew the power and popularity of army generals. Leaders like Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great made alliances to solidify control of the Republic.
I am the great Julius Caesar. I led armies to conquer Hispania and Gaul and wrote about these wars in a text to be translated by Latin school students for generations.
The whole of Gaul is divided into 3 parts, one of which the Belgae inhabit.
Stand up against Rome!
The Aquitani another.
Defend our fatherland!
And the third, a people who in their own language are called Celts, but in ours Gauls.
I am king of great warriors!
Pompey was a great leader in my day, but I, the great Julius Caesar, made an alliance with him, but I would share power for only so long. Pompey came from nobility, the upper class, but I was a man of the people and they loved me. My greatest ambition was to rule Rome. Only Pompey stood in my way. On one fateful day, my army waited at the edge of Italy on the far side of the river Rubicon. Pompey denied me entrance to Rome. Either I would disband my army and give up my ambition, or I would defy Pompey and cross the river. I chose to cross the Rubicon. The die had been cast.
Caesar marched into Italy without the slightest challenge. He crossed the Rubicon, violating Roman laws which prohibited a Roman army inside its own borders. Even so, Caesar was celebrated by the people. They took the power of the Senate and gave it to him, and that power went to his head.
All the while the Senate was planning their revenge on the Ides of March, Caesar was in the Senate pontificating about his greatness.
So in the world, 'tis furnished well with men, and men are flesh and blood, and apprehensive, yet in the number I do know but one, The unsaleable holds on his rank, unshake the motion, and that I am he. Let me a little show it.
Oh, Caesar.
Hence wilt thou lift up Olympus.
Great Caesar.
Doth not Brutus build a snail? Speak, hands for me, et super se, then fall, Caesar.
After the assassination of Julius Caesar, there was one who denounced his murders. His name was Mark Antony.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. This deed shall be avenged. We will not let Caesar's death go in vain. No, I will use it to my advantage. In fact, it is I, Mark Antony, who will rule Rome now. Come, let us find the rest of these conspirators and bring them to justice.
Like Pompey and Caesar before, Antony made an alliance with Caesar's descendant Octavius, but it would not last long.
I, Gaius, Julius Caesar's Octavianus, the great nephew of Julius Caesar. I was destined to be Caesar's heir, but my former ally Mark Antony was not going to stop me. Our fleets were battling off the coast of Actium in Greece, but suddenly, in the heat of battle, Cleopatra, the queen of Egypt, and Mark Antony's companion, suddenly pulled her silver oars to flee. Antony chased after her, disgracefully abandoning his soldiers. I, Octavius, was without rival. I quickly arose to supreme power as Emperor Caesar Augustus. Bring peace and order my reign, shall a flourishing of the arts, contentment among the common people, and the birth of Christ. This was the beginning of a great Roman peace, the Pax Romana.
The emperors who succeeded Augustus were powerful and intelligent, but they were only occasionally good. The moral decay of Rome was often typified by the rule of Nero. Under this evil man, the Christian church saw great persecution.
Christians, a strange lot, living in some man called Jesus, who dies our Lord. Well, I showed them my lordship. One night in Rome, flames went up all over the city. I could not help but be reminded of Troy and its fall. It inspired me to sing and play my harp. Afterwards, I was blamed for starting the fire. So I had the Christians blamed. They were put to death in many ways. Some said I was cruel. Some even pitied the Christians. But I never deserved what happened to me. When I had done so many things to bring beauty and art to Rome, but I was not appreciated. When conspirators came against me, I fled and had to fall upon my own sword. What an artist the world lost that day.
Years passed and Rome found itself being controlled by several so-called emperors who vied for control of the empire. Constantine was one of them. On the day before the battle at the Milvian Bridge, he was praying. God sent Constantine of a vision of a cross of light in the heavens at midday with an inscription telling him,
"By this sign you shall conquer."
Accordingly, I called on God with earnest prayers and supplications that he would reveal to me who he was and stretch forth his right hand to help me in my present difficulties. And while I was thus praying with fervent entreaty, a most marvelous sign appeared to me. At about noon, when the day was already beginning to decline, I saw with my own eyes the trophy of a cross of light in the heavens above the sun, and bearing the inscription, "By this sign you shall conquer." At this sight, I myself was struck with amazement, and my whole army also, which followed on the expedition and witnessed the miracle.
Constantine made Christianity the official religion of the Roman Empire. By then, the empire had been divided between the east and west, and Constantine moved his government to the east, to the city that would be named after him, Constantinople. This division of the empire, along with the new official religion, Christianity, did much to benefit the church in new ways. However, it did not prevent the West from being overrun by the Gauls. Those who worship the old pagan gods blame this new Christian religion for Rome's fall. In North Africa, the Christian bishop, Augustine, famously responded to this accusation. Was it Christianity's fault that Rome was sacked by the Gauls? No, Rome's own pride and immorality were the source of its trouble. But Christianity offers citizenship in the city of God, where sin is covered by Christ, where the pride of man is redeemed by the love of God.
Christianity is the religion worthy of your desires, O admirable Roman race, the progeny of Junius Brutus and Horatius, of Cato and of Augustus. Choose now what you will pursue, that your praise may not be in yourself, but in the one true God, in whom is no error. Incomparably more glorious than Rome is that heavenly city, in which for victory you have truth, for dignity, holiness, for peace, felicity, for life, eternity.